Can I just start by asking you some details about team news for Newcastle? How is Dan Burn? What's the latest with him?
Yeah, he's responded well. I think he'll train tomorrow, or hopefully will, and so he could be available for the weekend. That's good news for us. Apart from that, no fresh problems.
Good, that is good news. And another piece of good news for the club this week is obviously the call up to the Spain senior squad for Robert Sanchez. Just over a year ago, he was playing in goal on loan at Rochdale in League One. What's your reaction and how pleased are you for Robert?
Very pleased for him, very pleased for Ben Roberts and Casper who've worked with him and all the guys in the academy. I think it's a great story. We're delighted, of course, as a club, and I think it's a reward for Rob for his work with us and his developments since he's been with us, and everybody connected to the club that's helped with that.
Are you surprised with the way that he's performed so far in the Premier League, Graham?
Well, I wouldn't say surprise. You never know. As I said when we first put him in, his attributes, his top level stuff is of the highest level, and the only thing he lacked was games and of course experience, and then that's the bit that you never know how things go. But his attributes and what we see every day, I'm not surprised with that, because as I said, he's got everything you need to be a top goalkeeper.
Yesterday, the independent report into sexual abuse within football was published. The FA chief exec Mark Bullingham described it as a dark day for the beautiful game. What's been your reaction and some of your thoughts to Clive Sheldon QC's report?
Well, I think I agree. It's a very disturbing, it makes very distressing reading and news. I think it's a warning that we have to be vigilant. We have to not, despite I think a lot of the good work that goes on in football, we have to remain on our guard to these events, these things, because it's of course horrific, and like I said, it's a warning sign to us all to keep being keep the high standards that we have, and our thoughts go to the victims.
Thank you for that, Graham. And just one other thing about Aaron Connolly. The club said earlier this week they were looking into a report of a potential COVID-19 protocol breach. Can you bring us up to speed with that, where we are with the investigation, and has any action been taken against Aaron?
Yeah, well, it's something that we've dealt with internally. The club's dealing with it. I think clearly a mistake's been made. Our position is quite clear. The players know the responsibilities. They know what they should and shouldn't be doing, and Aaron's made a mistake, and we've dealt with that, and then we have to move on. He's a human being. These things happen, but clearly it's not something we're happy about. But it's been dealt with.
So has he been fined wages or just any sanctions that you're aware of?
I won't comment, if you don't mind, Elliot, just on how we've dealt with it, but it has been dealt with.
Of course, thank you. I respect that. Thanks,
No problem.
Graham. And just on the game itself, from the outside, everyone's really looking forward to it. How big a game is this for you personally as a manager?
Well, I'm going to say it. All the games in the Premier League are huge. That's how I think about them. And when you're in the situation that we're in, the next game is always the most important game. And then you look at where the two teams are, and clearly that adds some extra importance. But it's 1 in 10 games. There's a lot of football to play afterwards. But I'm sure if you speak with Steve, he will say the same. 3 points would be very, very nice, and would be very helpful to where we want to achieve our goals at the end of the season. So there's nothing else to say. Two teams that'll be fighting for the points. Two teams that know that are capable of winning. So yeah, it is what it is. An important game in the Premier League.
Thank you. Thanks, Graham.
No worries.
Hi, Graham. Leading on from that, is there a necessity to take that momentum from the Southampton game into this game? Is that where you're looking at, keeping that mood going, that momentum running?
Well, of course, that's what we'd like. It's not as simple as that, because there's an opponent that wants to take the points as well and wants to get stop us. So, but clearly we've just come through a frustrating period where results haven't gone our way, and we had an important 3 points against Southampton. I think since the turn of the year, that's Southampton, that's Leeds, that's Tottenham, that's Liverpool that we've won. So I think we've shown that we're capable of winning games. But we want to try and back that up against Newcastle on Saturday night. But that's what we'll try to do.
And in terms of your playing style, there's always plaudits for the way you play. It's a joy to watch. When it all clicks in a certain game where it maybe hasn't been clicking, how is it for you to watch? Is that something very pleasurable for you to take on?
Well, I think the most pleasurable thing is getting the result. That's what we're here for, and we understand that. And then, like anything, you need to decide, I suppose, whether you're how you get the result, how you play, and the longevity of that in terms of developing the team, the players, and the club. And that's has been our decision. But ultimately, in football, it's about scoring one more goal than the opponent, and we haven't done that well enough the last 3 or 4 games before Southampton. And previously to that, we had a good run, but in this league, the margins are small. You can be heavily punished. You can drop your level a little bit. Lots of those things, but never lose facts of the most important thing, which is the points at the end. And
specifically, we spoke to Joel Feltman this morning. Can you tell us how important his versatility has been for you as a manager?
Really important. I think he's one of those players that's huge football intelligence. His game insight, game understanding is of a really high level, and then he has the technical quality to see passes, to read situations, and as a result of that, you can pretty much play him anywhere in the defensive line. He's wherever he's played, he's never let us down, and he's a credit to himself, of course, and his profession, because he's a model professional.
And was that something that you had in your mind for him when you saw him, when you took him from Ajax, when you signed him? Was that versatile role something that you really had your eye on?
Well, I think the recruitment guys identified that part of that, the fact that he can play right back, right centre back. He could do that comfortably. So that gives you a couple of options. And then clearly, as the season unfolds, you have a few issues in your squad, and then he can fill in. So I think he's probably surprised us in terms of his attacking output in the final third. But it's been a really pleasant surprise. And then the rest is what we thought, which is an intelligent footballer with a real high game understanding and technical level.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Hi Graham, just one on Aaron Connolly. Is he going to be involved at the weekend? I know, aside from what you're dealing with internally, is he going to be in the squad?
Well, we've got a few to make a decision on, Johnny, so I need to have a think about that. But he's trained and he's available. I'll have to make the call probably tomorrow.
With regards to Robert Sanchez, he has name-checked, Ben Roberts and the work that he's done, calling him like a second father. What is it that Ben Roberts does to keep us, in training? It's not the first time he's brought someone through. What special attributes does he have?
Well, I think fundamentally he cares for them as people. The first thing, he's had that relationship with Rob where father figure at times, kicking him up the backside when he's needed it, arm round him when he needs it. So I think tough love versus loving feedback, if you like. He's got that good mix. So they know they can't step out of line, but at the same time they know someone cares deeply about them, just as people and as goalkeepers. And then I think what Ben does well is he just works with the individual, highlights their strengths, highlights what they can do, and designs practices according to that, really. Treats them all, because whilst they're all goalkeepers, all the same, they're all incredibly different in terms of what they bring. So he's we're very lucky to have Ben, and Casper as well supports him really, really well. It certainly makes my job easier when you have high quality staff like that around.
And just one on your captain, Lewis Dunk, 4th goal of the season. How important are his leadership and captaincy skills going to be in the final 10 games of the season?
Really important, and I think he's getting better and better. Really is. I think, as we've said before, it's his 2nd season doing it, and he leads more naturally by example. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he takes on the responsibility of performing to the highest level, and he's been our best player since I've been at the club. So he leads in that regard, but I think he's also developing just how to lead as a man, as a person off the pitch and on the pitch, and he's been a credit to himself. Really, I'm really proud of him.
And just on Newcastle, they're missing Almiron, Wilson, Saint-Maximin. Obviously, that's a blow for Newcastle, but what are you expecting from this game?
A really difficult game. A team that's improved recently, I think. They've got a clear idea about what they're trying to do. Tactically, very, very organised. They use the counter-attack well with Joel Linton and whether it's Fraser or Willock or Gale. They've got some options there, but. They've still got some good players, some Premier League players that have won games at this level. So, as always with Steve Bruce's teams, they find the ways to win, they find ways to get results, and they'll be competing, and they'll be a tough team to play.